Now, your forecast first from KARK-4, your weather authority.
Well, Mother Nature doing her part to help clear the roads with a little bit of sunshine today, but clouds will be increasing across the state overnight tonight. So expect after sunset to see those areas that are wet freeze up. Plus, we've got a little bit of snow on the way as we head through the overnight hours as another surge of Arctic air makes its way toward Arkansas. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect for parts of the state. We'll let you know where that is and how much to expect. Your forecast first for Little Rock, partly cloudy this evening, becoming cloudy later on tonight. A 20% chance of flurries around midnight, but we're going to start your Wednesday sunny and cold with a temperature around 26. Arkansas News That Matters starts right now.
Coming up, a refreeze. Just as ice begins to melt, more traffic troubles and another winter weather advisory. We have where next. Plus,
as many people in this world are tired of seeing these Islamic extremists running all over the world.
strong words as a state senator comes under fire for suggesting we use a nuclear bomb on ISIS. And a shooting in a central Arkansas home, leaving one person dead and a 7-year-old calling 911 for help.
Now, from the station you count on for local news that matters. This is KARK-4 News at 5.
A traffic tie-up on Interstate 40, leaving folks stranded for hours after a tractor trailer slips and overturns on the highway. This all happening near Carlisle in Lonoke County. That's still part of a highway mess that has just happened as we have come on the air this evening. Good evening and thanks for choosing KARK. I'm Ashley Katz.
Hello, good evening everyone. I'm Bob Clausen. Slowly but surely the melting has begun, but for some it's just not happening quick enough. Already some districts are calling off school for Wednesday. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those road conditions out there, what folks are dealing with right now. Looking at the I-Drive site there, the State Highway and Transportation map. Roadways close to central and northeast Arkansas still have ice and icy patches. You see it right there, indicated by the fuchsia and pink, while roadways in the rest of the state are mostly clear. Great news there, indicated by the green color.
And while we have seen a clearing, at least here in the capital city, we are in for the threat of refreezing overnight. KARK-4's Marcy Manley has been out traveling around in the city, checking on conditions. So, Marcy, how is it where you're out driving this evening?
Well, we're in Hillcrest right now off of Kavanaugh in the Kavanaugh area. And as you can see here, I mean, you can see the drastic difference between what's in the shade and what has gotten sun today. Now, main thoroughfares, main arteries are clear for the most part, at least with pathways of travel. But the side streets are really what Little Rock Public Works are going to be focusing on throughout the next few hours, throughout this 12-hour shift, we're told. We're coming up on Elm, I believe, and it's a good example of the type of side street situations that we're seeing. You can see that it's frozen right there. No sunlight to give it any melting power. So that's what they're addressing for the next 12 hours. We'll be taking a look at other areas throughout the city in our other broadcasts. Reporting from Little Rock, I'm Marcy Manley.
All right, Marcy, thanks very much. Be careful out there. Interstate 30, a huge problem for drivers on Monday. As KARK-4 was high in the sky, we showed you the traffic trouble that left some stranded on the road for hours Monday during the morning and afternoon hours. Today, a slick start, but much smoother situation overall. But as KARK-4's Stephanie Sharp shows us, those smaller roads, secondary roads, still an issue.
Slipping, sliding, screeching to a halt. It's something drivers in Saline County may have seen just too much of Tuesday morning.
20 mile an hour was out of the question. It was 5 to 10 mile an hour.
Eric Belvins lives 4 miles from his job, but it took him far longer to get there today.
About 20 minutes. Normally it's about 5 minutes.
While this road proved to be too slick for a tow truck.
Solid 2 inches of ice.
Some were okay.
Once you get on the freeway, then you'll be fine.
But others, not so much.
The neighborhood roads are worse than the actual freeway.
Drivers like Matt Kavanaugh are heading out to work, only because he has to.
I'm just hoping I don't get into any rough patches.
Being extra careful hitting the streets.
Just going really slow, taking my time, making sure I don't go too fast.
Slick and slippery, not just the roadways, but the sidewalks and parking lots, too.
Almost fell down a few times.
Like sheets of ice.
Just waiting for a warm-up.
If it ever gets to slush, it'll get to drying out some.
For the pavement to get back to normal again. And Saline County.
That was Stephanie Sharp reporting. While roads are in a much better situation this afternoon, law enforcement in the county working several spinouts there to deal with, and of course that creating their own problems. Of course, we'll continue to follow the changing conditions across the natural state this evening. For the very latest on road conditions, power outages, and school and business closings, you can find it right here on the air or on our app, and of course, ArkansasMatters.com. In other news this evening, a 911 call from a 7-year-old after waking up to gunshots inside her Malvern home. Monday night, police found one man dead, his girlfriend critically injured. KARK-TV's Josh Berry has the story this evening. And Josh, you spoke to the man's family?
Bob, I did. They tell me the shots had to have happened at a point-blank range. Malvern police are asking for anyone to come forward with any information about this shooting. Meanwhile, the family just hopes someone pays for what's been done.
Kind of devastating, you know.
Monday night, Malvern police found Mike Stovall's brother Jason inside his own home on Locust Street, shot to death.
Shoulder, and it went through his heart and killed him instantly.
He says Jason's girlfriend, Heather Darter, was also shot
in the face and got her, and it lodged in her neck.
Police called her wound a critical but non-life-threatening injury. Her 3 small children were home at the time but weren't hurt. One of them had to call police.
The 7-year-old had enough sense to call 911 when she saw her mother shot.
He says the children were in a back room when someone walked through the front door and shot both adults.
It was not a break-in or a burglary because all the money was still there. All of his money was laying on the table, credit cards, wallets.
And as Malvern police continue their investigation, the family hopes something breaks quick.
They're going to find who did this. Someone's going to find it. Hopefully the police will before anyone else does.
Now, the family tells me some of them suspect this may have been the result of a previous argument or fight Jason Stovall may have had. Either way, they say the loss of a family member, or any person for that matter, is not worth it. If you think you know anything about this, call police. Back to you.
All right, Josh, thanks very much. A state senator from Faulkner County taking some criticism tonight for suggesting using nuclear weapons in the fight against ISIS. KARK's Drew Petrimo speaking with the senator this afternoon. He joins us now live in the studio. Drew.
Well, Ashley, Republican State Senator Jason Rapert says he just heard the news of 21 Egyptian Christians allegedly being beheaded by ISIS militants and calling for the U.S. to take increased military action. Let's take a look at what he said in a post on Facebook. This is part of what he wrote on his Facebook post. He said, a strategically placed nuclear weapon would save the lives of our soldiers and quickly turn things around. It is time for the insanity to be stopped. Now, obviously, Senator Rapert taking some criticism for these comments. We caught up with him today to ask him about it.
Do you worry at all about the considerations of innocent lives that will be lost, or loss of the impression of the United States across the world if something like that were to be done?
I would never advocate indiscriminately using any kind of weaponry, conventional or nuclear. Bunker buster bombs are used to strategically hit an actual target.
Now, we spoke this afternoon with Dr. Rebecca Glazer at UALR. She's written about political Islam, religiously motivated violence, and war theory. Here's what she had to say. She said the problem with this strategy would be that nuclear weapons would be unable to discriminate between combatants and civilians, is likely to have severe environmental consequences, and most importantly, would break nearly 70 years of global nuclear restraint. She went on to say it would be unlikely to stop ISIS, who is gathering recruits from around the world, including in Western nations, and those recruits would only grow in the wake of a nuclear attack. So, two sides of this issue. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Drew, thank you very much. A local school district hoping to get your vote to add and renovate their campuses. Find out how much the decision could cost homeowners. Plus,
it happened so fast I couldn't stop, and I would have if I could have.
What started out as a fun day in the snow turns into a hospital visit. Find out what type of injuries area hospitals have seen from our winter storm and how to prevent them.
And it may not have been all that warm today. Here in Little Rock, we only made it up to 38 after starting the day at 20, but the sunshine went a long way in helping clear those roadways. A lot of them will freeze up tonight where they're still wet. Plus, we've got some wintry precipitation on the way for parts of the state. We'll outline where that is and what to expect for the rest of the week in just a couple minutes.
From the station that brings you local news that matters, this is KARK 4 News at 5 in high definition. With Bob Clausen, Ashley Katz, and Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan.